Minister of Mines and Energy has called this media briefing today to announce the fuel price adjustment for April 2022. As you are aware, the Minister of Mines and Energy conducts a review of the fuel price every month to determine whether there is a need for price adjustment. We do so because diesel and petrol are controlled products. These products are imported into Namibia by licensed wholesale companies at a price which is set at the international level. Government controls the prices at which these products are sold to consumers. We have just concluded a fuel price review for April 2022. And during this review, we noted that the Namibian dollar slightly appreciated, meaning it has gained a little value against the US dollar in March compared to last month around this time. The review further indicated that the average prices for ULP 95, that is petrol, has significantly increased in March from 109 to 129 US dollars per barrel. Furthermore, the average price for diesel 50 ppm has also increased from 109 to 144 US dollars per barrel. The sharp increases in the petroleum products are ascribed to two main factors, namely the geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe that reached the boiling point late last month and their repercussions. In other words, the high oil prices are driven by the market uncertainties regarding the availability of Russian oil in the near term. Russia is the world's second largest crude oil producer after Saudi Arabia. Secondly, there continues to be a widening mismatch between global oil supply and oil demand. The scarcity of a commodity usually means high prices for that commodity. Those two main factors contributed to the significant increase in the fuel prices. The appreciation of the Namibian dollar was not significant enough to offset the sharp increase in fuel products during the period under review. Our recent review, therefore, shows huge under-recoveries recorded during the trading cycle under review. That is 220 cents per liter on petrol and 359 cents per liter on diesel. In preparation for this uncertain future, the ministry has initiated a consultative process with the Ministry of Finance as well as other state institutions that derive revenue from the levies and taxes imposed on prices of petroleum products. The aim is to explore the possibilities of temporarily reducing some of the levies and taxes to soften the burden on fuel consumers, possibly for a period of 6 months. The consultations are currently at a very advanced level and are expected to be finalized this April 2022. The public will be informed of the outcomes once all discussions are finalized. Based on that background and the market indicators outlined above, and based on the huge under-recoveries recorded, the fuel prices for April will be adjusted as follows, effective from the 6th of April 2022. Number one, increase in petrol price by $1.95 per liter, and increase in diesel price by $2.95 Namibian dollars per liter. It therefore means that the new fuel pump price in Wolfish Bay will become 19 Namibian dollars 10 cents per liter for unleaded petrol, and 20 Namibian dollars 23 cents per liter for diesel. Fuel prices across the country will be adjusted accordingly. It is worth noting that the National Energy Fund will cover all the under-recoveries recorded at the end of March 2022 on behalf of the fuel consumers, and this amounts approximately to 390 million Namibian dollars. In conclusion, the ministry wishes to inform the public that the country is indeed facing a very tough and uncertain times and situations over the coming months, given what is happening in the world right now. Great financial sacrifices will have to be made at both level, individual and collective, because it's the only way we will be able to overcome the current difficulties. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I will be ready to take up few questions. It is unfortunate that I have another engagement to undertake immediately after this, and me and my team are available for the discussion in the next few minutes. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from the meeting? Colleagues, so there are no questions?
I think everything is clear.
The removal of the levies or the consideration that the levies ought to be removed, what impact is that expected to have on, for example, the National Energy Fund, these bodies that generate and the motor vehicle accident fund that use part of those levies for the operations? Thank you.
Any other question? Maybe we can take some few and we just answer it once. Okay? Yes, sir.
Beyond the levies removal, if the war continue, if the sanctions on Russia continue beyond the medium term, are there any long-term plan or strategy to cushion the country beyond just removing levies? It's just looking within Africa in terms of procuring or even buying from Russia where the oil is cheap. Is there any other long-term plan beyond the 6-month removal of levies?
Okay. Are those the only questions that we have for today?
No, I have a second one. And on the energy fund, if you're looking at the under recovery, is that the biggest under recovery we have ever recorded? And is the energy fund able to take up all the beyond the 300 and 200 for petrol?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. Maybe to respond on the first question, on the impact of the, you have just said the cutting of the levies. In my statement, I have not mentioned of the cutting, but we have spoken about temporary reduction on those levies. And these are the discussions that we are busy with, and we all know the impact that it might have on those institutions that are beneficiaries from these levies. That is why I have mentioned that the consultation is happening with the stakeholders. We are going to look at all the merits and the demerits of this reduction, if at all will happen, because all these discussions are happening during the time when we are also reading or looking at the development of the current situation as it unfolds day by day. Therefore, we know there might be a slight impact, but we will also look at the mitigating factors that will help out on those impacts that are going to happen with the institutions that are beneficiaries to these levies.
Thank you.
Good. And then, if the war continues, what is our long-term plan? Of course, you cannot sleep on duty. You will have to try to make plans, whether it is short-term or long-term. All these are plans that we are having to discuss during this time, because day by day, our economists are busy looking at all those indicators, whether they are indicating that we are going to be negatively affected or maybe the situation is improving. And depending on those readings, we are on a daily basis looking at our plan. How are we going to survive from such a situation? How are we going to make sure that the security of supply is continuing? How are we going to make sure that our people are going to afford the current prices as they are going to unfold with the current situation or the current geopolitics? Therefore, with that, we will inform the public as soon as new plans are coming up and new decisions are taken that will help out, whether it is the ministerial level, the state level, or whether it is something that we need to do at microeconomics, at household level. We will be able to inform the public. Then the third one, on whether that is the biggest under-recoveries that we are experiencing, I would like to give an opportunity to Madam Neke. Can you perhaps come in?
On the under-recovery, it is the biggest. Yes, that is for the past years actually, except during the peak time of COVID. We had also recorded almost similar under-recoveries in 2020. And yes, as the increases that we recommended now by that are being adjusted now by the ministry is also to assist the fund in actually being able to continue with its own obligation. Because the adjustment, although will not remove the commitment for the month of March, which already have passed, is actually minimizing the difference in the price, in the international price and the local price for the coming months. Meaning that we then anticipate that if the situation remains at where it is now, the under-recovery for the next month will at least not be at a similar level as the current month. And also just to indicate, it is true the NEF and our prices are where they are because of the equalization levy that is cushioning the price. And to date, since April 2021, which is now 12 months up to today, the fund has paid under recoveries for about 1.2 billion. And that actually, in addition to the transportation cost of fuel to far rural areas where there's no infrastructure in terms of the railway, about 72 million, which was then paid for transporting fuel to those areas. Also to make sure that fuel price is not significantly different or higher at those levels just because they are far from Valfes Bay where the pricing is being done. Hence, the National Energy Fund will continue to monitor the situation, as the Honourable Minister have indicated, and together with the Ministry of Finance, we will actually work out on measures that will ensure that the fund will still be able to provide or bring its obligation to fore. Thank you.
Very good. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. My name is Edgar from the New Era newspaper. I just wanted to check with the ministry in terms of the percentage of the fuel price that is consumed by levies. If you look at the price per litre, how much of that price per litre in terms of percent is taken up by the levies, and will it really make a difference if we temporarily suspend these levies for, like you said, 6 months or so? Thank you.
Yes. Yes, madam.
I'm Charmaine Kashiro from the newspaper. I've asked this question before, but I want to the Minister, you said that you don't really have immediate plans if the Russia war continues, but I wanted to know whether the fuel storage facilities is one of the options in terms of, thanks for that.
Yes, sir.
Just a follow-up. Look, because we are indicating that yes, you might look at the levies to reduce any of them, but if you look at most of the levies are quite critical. The two levies are on DBN, the other to the road and others. So the prospect of any of the stakeholders perhaps agreeing, the probability, I can say, is really, really, really minimal. And that's why I really wondered if there is any other option that the minister is going to utilize. But realistically, all the levies are quite critical. DBN pay monthly in terms of their loans. There are road infrastructure that are going on, and there is the energy fund. So it's quite, the probability are really, really low in terms of the stakeholders coming on board. That's why maybe if you can just be specific, and if I can be specific, the minister was on Angola. What is the outcome of that in terms of long-term plan? If they have spoken to Angola, what is the result? You can include it as part of the plan. Then secondly, to the madam, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. The fuel consumption is going down as people reduce to cut their expenditure. And if the situation prolongs, how will the fund now get the enough to equalize the prices? Thanks.
Okay. I hope that is the last question. Okay, very good. That was the last round. Okay, Edie, can I perhaps give you to respond to some of these questions?
No, thank you very much. Maybe if I can start with a question related to the levies. You're right to say that these levies they were put on the fuel prices for them to deliver a specific service for all those institutions. We were unable to indicate exactly what we are going to achieve now, because I think, as we have indicated, negotiations are still in the process. But what we are saying is that we are in difficult times, and therefore in difficult times, everybody is expected to tighten their belts. whether it's at individual level, as the Deputy Minister has indicated, or at institutional levels. We will try and see where we can get savings so that at least we can use that saving to cushion the fuel prices, so that at least the consumers will be able to get some reliefs. With regards to the percentage of levy to the prices, it varies. As you may know, is that the price of oil is changing, like what we have just indicated now. But the levies, they mostly change either once a year or maybe after 2 years. Therefore, it changes. It ranges from 35 to about 45. That is a percentage of levies to the fuel prices. I will request the economists maybe to deal with the issues related to the national oil storage facilities, if we can use that one maybe to alleviate the situation in the long term.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edie. That one, NOSOF is a double-edged sword in the sense that on one hand you can fill it up, but then you will be taking a risk. You might be exposing government to financial risk, because if you fill it up at current prices, the next week the prices drop. It means you have exposed government to financial risk. That fuel will need to be sold at a loss. And also, just in terms of the strategies that you are asking about, the options that we are looking at involve things like maybe introducing the 100% import mandate, to give one company the mandate to import all the fuel for the country, so we can capitalize on economies of scale. So that is one of the long-term options. Because currently the oil companies are bringing in separate packages. Every company brings in their own packages, small packages. So if we can combine those packages, we might be able to capitalize on economies of scale. Thank you.
Well, they agree though, they are fine.
Yeah, those are the challenges we need to sort out.
In fact, those are the discussions we have already started with oil companies. We have agreed to consult the companies on a regular basis so that we can see what best options would be available for the countries.
Okay. There was also a question on the long-term plan with regard to Angolan fuel.
Yeah. In terms of the Angolan fuel, obviously Angola is a crude oil producer. So the long-term plan maybe that we can look into is to bring both governments together to put up perhaps an oil refinery in one of the countries that both countries then will be using. But then the investment in that refinery will require a lot of money, which we will have to find from somewhere. But those are some of the plans we are looking at. We have also discovered our own crude, which needs further analysis to be confirmed. But the opportunity is there. If we can put up our own processing facilities, we will be able to save on things like shipping costs. Because currently fuel is coming in from places like Singapore. So if we have our own facilities here at home, we might be able to save on things like shipping costs.
Very good. Madam Neke, there was one question for you.
Yes, on the longer term of National Energy Fund to be able to cover for the under-recoveries. As we have indicated, and as you have rightly alluded to, the consumption is going down. And the aim now of the consultation that we are doing is actually to protect that consumption. As a result, if consumption goes down, it's actually have a repercussion of how much you will get from that levy, and that is impact on all the levy beneficiaries. Hence, as we have indicated earlier, we are in consultation. That consultation also include the long-term funding strategy for the National Energy Fund, and how we can actually meet the consumers halfway during these times. So that is also included in that strategy that we are consulting currently. So as indicated, once we are in a position where we can then communicate further to the consumers, then we will do so.
Good. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of this media briefing on the current situation and the fuel prices as posed by the current situation. Would like to register our profound gratitude to the media for disseminating information further to all corners of Namibia and beyond. What we must know and remember is that this situation is not only facing Namibia, but the whole world at large. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day.